Hello and welcome to my channel. Hope you all really well. Splendid. Now for today's video I'm going to show you some modern retro controllers. For those of you who don't know what I mean, it's basically controllers that look like old ones from the great old days of gaming that does some have modern technology crammed into it. Or basically controllers that are for older systems with some new designs and so forth that basically improve your gaming experience. So yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know, and I got a few of them right here, so let's get into it and see what it's like, and I'll give my personal opinion of what I think about them. Right, let's start off with this. They may be thinking, hang on, this is a regular NES controller, except there's no cable on there, it just has this thing right here. And yes, it is a real NES controller, as you can see right here. Now, what this has had done to it, basically, have you heard this company called 8BitDo, or 8BitDo, if you, whatever you're from and how you pronounce it? They have released something called a Bluetooth wireless kit. Basically what this means, if you've got an old controller like this NES or Super Nintendo or a 6-button Mega Drive controller or Sega Saturn controller, you can actually turn this into a Bluetooth controller, which is actually a pretty good idea. So like if, for example, if one of these decided to break, well, basically the board inside of it, you could just get rid of it, place their own board, and turn it into a more useful controller. Well, I say more useful, which means you can use it on multiple devices, because it has obviously Bluetooth technology. Yay! And yes, you can see that's the where shows that it's on, and oh, just in case why it's got a little hole in it, it's also where you have to charge it with it. Yes, this is the cable that comes with it. It's very unique, so don't lose that. Yep, as you can see, it plugs by USB, and once you plug it in for a couple hours, you're pretty much good to go. I think it has about 8-9 hours of battery life in it, so not too shabby. And also you can actually use this for the original NES by their own Bluetooth receivers, well basically they're called retro receivers. And basically it's a special receiver you can put it for the original NES, and it does actually work, so there you go. So yeah, original NES controller with Bluetooth technology crammed into it. Splendid. Obviously the quality is pretty much exactly the same, so yeah, so you know what an NES controller feels like? Well, there you go. So great stuff. However, if you're not really a big fan of doing that kind of stuff, well, don't worry, they do have some built-in controllers you want to use. One in particular I do have is this. This obviously looks like a regular Super Nintendo controller, but as you can see it is wireless, obviously, and it's called the SF30 Gamepad. And it's about, well, there's not so much to talk about really. It just looks like a Super Nintendo controller. It almost feels as good as Super Nintendo controller. I mean, the quality of the buttons feels great, especially the start and select buttons, and the D-pad feels really good. Shoulder buttons, well, they feel great as well, and it does look very close to the original Super Nintendo controller, or the European and the Super Famicom ones, obviously, because of the color buttons. They do have the American purple buttons as well, so you can fancy those. They have an option for you. They have multiple designs, obviously, but this is, well, I always wanted one that's sort of close resemblance to the original, and yeah, they do have that as well. Yep, and yeah, basically that's the indicator light, and obviously that's the light I believe that indicates if the battery is dying. So you can plug this by mini USB, and I think it's about, I'd say about more 12 hours of 12 hours of battery life in this thing, so that is really good. Yeah, so again, if you want a wireless controller for your Super Nintendo, and it feels good as well, and for good conveniences, you can actually use this on Nintendo Switch and so forth, then this will be your best option, because it's about as good as you can get, really. However, if you fancy a bit of upgrade, well, guess what? You can have this one. This is again the SF30 Pro. Basically, again, same quality controllers you remember previously, but as you can see, it has analog sticks in the bottom. Look at that, and it feels really nice. And it has a turbo function into it. It has a rumble pack feature, rumble pack in there, so it has a bit of vibration. And I believe, from what I heard, because I only had this for a short period, It has a motion sensor as well, because obviously this is built from Nintendo Switch, so it does kind of make sense. And as you can see, it has two shoulder buttons here, which feels great. Yeah, so this is, many people will recognize this immediately, know this is a great controller. I do not recommend this highly enough. And just to show anybody, yes, it does work on a real Super Nintendo, which I'm about to show you right now. Well, sort of. This is my Super Boy FSC, which is basically a portable Super Nintendo, and as you can see, it has the virtual receiver, which is basically a Bluetooth receiver for the Super Nintendo. You can plug into the controller port like so, and I've got to turn the thing on, and you connect it to it by pressing the start button, I believe. And you have to wait for the light. There you go, it's fully connected. And watch this. I'm just using the analog stick. Look at that. Straight away, it does work. Just imagine playing Star Fox with this controller. It would be a much better experience for a lot of people. So, yay. Right, so you can see you're only using the analog stick to, well, basically move. And as you can see, it does actually work. Yes, you can see I'm failing quite badly here. Yeah. But anyway, so you probably guess what it's like. So yeah, this Pro version of the controller, I definitely 100% recommend this. It is a great controller, without a question. Sticking with Nintendo's, Nintendo 64 controller. You like it or you don't. Many people don't like it. It's their personal preference. I really don't mind. But if you're one of those people who don't really like it for some reason, then there's some options out there that you would like to try, such as this. This is called the Bralwer 64 by Retro Fighters. You may see these on the internet for quite some time, and it is well, there's no question about it, it's a really great controller. It looks like from the Xbox One controller, obviously, but obviously it does work with the N64. As you can see, is the actual plug. And yeah, basically what else do you want? It has a really good analog joystick in there. D-pad feels really good. I'll go on the buttons and features in there, including a turbo function too, which is fantastic. And well, obviously it has the two shoulder buttons, but also it has the Z trigger buttons, which normally would be down here somewhere or whatever. But note that up here, they do require a bit of travel for this one here, but it's not too bad, obviously. And of course, you have your ports in the back, so you can put your memory card in there, your mobile pack if you have one of those. Oh, and if you have the Game Boy transfer pack in the back, bad news, I'm afraid, it doesn't work with this controller. So I'm afraid you're going to have to use regular ones if you want to play Pokemon Snap and play the Game Boy games from there. I've been using this for a while, and I'm very happy with it. So again, I definitely recommend this if you like. So, well, something different to play the N64 games in a long run. But it gets even better because they also recently came up with a wireless version. Sorry, I had to bump in the camera. Yeah, as you can see, it's the same controller, but it is wireless. As you can see, you have to charge it by USB Type-C connector up there. Again, D-pad feels really great, and joystick feels really good. Obviously, the buttons feel really good as well, turbo functioning as well, but the Z trigger button is a little different. It doesn't require much travel, so there is some improvements in there, so fantastic. And instead of having this on the back, it's pretty much nothing. That's where the battery is placed in there, which is actually is replaceable, because one of the features it does do is that you take this apart, you open this up, and you find the internal battery, the exact same one on the internet, and you can actually replace it. You just basically unplug it, plug a new one in, and you pretty much got a new battery. So that's really good thinking there for Retro Fighters, so well done to you guys. Now, obviously, you're thinking, where the hell am I gonna put my memory card and so forth? Well, with this. Yeah, this is a receiver. Not exactly the best looking thing, but as you can see, that's where you put your card in, like so. Now, obviously, the rumble pack and the Game Boy transfer pack does not work on this. Yes, so definitely these two I did recommend. But which one you prefer, it's entirely up to you. But yeah, This one, I believe, has the 2.4 gigahertz wireless technology as opposed to Bluetooth technology. So yeah, 100% recommend these as well. I want to show you another retrofied controller which I do have. Is this is called the StrikerDC, which you may see in my previous videos. But for the one to show my game room tour video, yeah, I unboxed this thing and I've been using it for a while, and I can happen to report that this is possibly the best option if you want to play this on your regular Dreamcast, which I can prove to you. Just give me a second. Yep, again, you can play this on your regular Dreamcast. Nice. Yeah, as you can see, the buttons feel really nice. The start button is down here, which is really good. D-pad feels much better, and obviously the stick is way much better than the original. It is such a relief. Oh, of course, it's got a turbo feature on it as well, and you got the 2 ports, one for your memory card, and of course how you can use the rumble pack feature, which is a good bonus as well. 2 trigger buttons here on top, and obviously the shoulder buttons are here. And again, if you're not a big fan of the original controller, which to be fair, a lot of people don't like, this is a great alternative. I cannot recommend this 100%. Right, going back to Nintendo 64. If you remember, there's a company called Hori that basically does third-party controllers. They've been doing it for quite some time, but there was a famous one that was made specifically for Nintendo 64, which was only exclusive to Japan, as far as I believe. And well, basically ever since it's been discovered, it became so popular that many other users want it, and it's now a collector's item, therefore it's too expensive. Thanks eBay for that. But don't worry, Retrobit has got you covered, because they made a replica of this controller with the Tribute 64, and yep, this is called the Tribute 64 down here. Yep, it's pretty much exactly like the Hori controller. I don't have the original one compared to the quality of it, but this feels really good itself. I mean, the analog stick, which is basically the GameCube style analog stick, feels really good. D-pad and all the buttons here feel really nice. The trigger shoulder buttons up here feel really good, and as you can see, it feels really solid quality plastic there. And you have obviously the port down here to put your memory card in. I think the rumble pack does work with this as well, but I haven't tested with that just yet, so I may be wrong. But the Game Boy Transfer Pack again doesn't work on this, so if you want to play Pokemon Stadium on it, don't bother use that, because obviously it would not work at all. Yeah, so if you come for the real deal and want to basically play with the Hori controller, this is probably a good replica for you, because it's about as good as it gets, really. So yeah, so there you go, Retrobit and Tribute 64. Would I recommend it? Yep, absolutely. For a cheaper deal, you can't really complain about that. But they don't just do that specific controller for Nintendo 64. Retrobit has also done Sega controllers, well, something like this one. This, as of course, is the 6-button Mega Drive controller / Genesis. I know this is the actual one you can actually use in a Mega Drive / Genesis, as you can see right here. The quality of this thing feels really good. I cannot believe how well this thing is made. The D-pad and the buttons feel really solid, and obviously the start button here, and the mode button, well, listen to that. It feels really good. It's kind of weird that it's actually since I got chosen the see-through blue shell, which actually looks really good, and yet the mode button is still black. Not particularly biggest fan about that, but biggest comfort choose really, but it does actually work. Yeah, so if you want a 6-button controller that is a little bit unique, then yeah, the Retrobit has got you covered. But it also do controllers for the Sega Saturn. This is obviously a replica of the, I believe the Japanese version of the Saturn, with the multiple color buttons, and obviously see-through. Obviously it is the own version, obviously. And it's like if Sega would have built this controller in today's world, and well, let's put it this way. If you can't find one of these in really good nick and you just want to get a proper Sega Saturn controller, as you can see, yeah, it's a real deal. Yeah, Retrobit has got you covered, and I believe both the Mega Drive and this one does have one with USB connected to it. So yeah, so you got plenty of options for you there. So yeah, definitely recommend these two 100%. But wait, there's more. You can actually have these controllers wirelessly as well. Look at that. These are pretty much the same quality as you get for the previous ones, but with a little bit of difference. Like this Mega Drive / Genesis 6-button controller, it has 2 shoulder buttons here. It's there's no mode button on top of it because also you replace with this. It's got the home and select button, but the D-pad and everything else is, well, the same really, and nice, really good quality to it. And for the Sega Saturn, obviously you get the same thing. It has 2 extra buttons here. Well, you get your original shoulder buttons, but and again a nice quality feel. And you can have this again with a nice clear blue shell, which I think it looks really cool. And in this pack I got his very own 2 his own receivers and one of these each, which you can actually plug this in with your Switch and your PC / Mac, and apparently you can actually use these on for the PlayStation 3 as well, which is quite nice. And if you got one of these as well, guess what? It works with it as well. So if you want to use this with this or this on this, you can. So well done there, Retrobit. Though these particular ones are the 2.4 GHz versions, because obviously and it means you have less input lag compared to the Bluetooth versions, which is more preferable for pro gamers who just want to play retro games with less input lag. But the 2.4 GHz version is probably the best solution. Just like everything else I put on the table, I definitely recommend these 100%. They are great controllers and I have no problems with these whatsoever. And that is pretty much it for this video. If you like it, hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see a lot more stuff like this. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Cheerio. Move on to the next product. Oh shoot.